Hi, Peter Charles here, Hooked to Life Fly Fishing. And if you do any kind of fishing with shooting head systems, whether it's Skagit, Scandi, whatever, you may have encountered these large loops that some manufacturers have on the end of the running lines. And the purpose of that large loop is to allow us to easily change our heads or remove a head. So there you go, it's off. If you had a small loop on the end of it, you have to feed it through. Pain, really pain, especially when you had a long head. So rolling up your shooting head like this, or in this case a Skagit head, and just feeding it through my big wide open loop here. Let's see, I'll hold it over here so you can see it. You see the size of it. It's very easy to thread your shooting head or your Skagit head through that. Now, you could get a running line from a manufacturer, and not all of them put these large loops in. When I've been teaching clients, I've encountered brands that have very small loops at the end, and you may not like that because these large loops are extremely handy. Or you could have damaged your large loop. That can happen. So how do you make one of your own? So I've got my trusty blue running line here. I've got a piece of heat shrink. First thing we're going to do, like all of them, we're going to taper the end of it. So it looks like that. You want that taper in there so it flows smoothly. Also helps you with the threading too. Now, so we thread our running line through the heat shrink, and we pull a lot out. And that's the important part. And we thread this back through. And be generous with the overlap, because a lot of stress goes on this joint because it's often involved with the tip top. So if you're casting with the joint right at the tip top, it's really stressing the joint. So you want a good one with lots of overlap. So there we go. I'll just push that in a little bit more. So I'm going to work with about, I'd say about 2 inches of overlap here. And now we've got a nice large loop. And actually I can pull out a little bit more if I wanted to make it larger. There we go. So let's turn this on and get going. As per usual, we snug everything down first. I'll put some glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now to the weld. Okay, now we have a good 2-inch long weld, maybe a little bit longer than that, which is good. And we'll just let this cool, and then I'll cut it off. Okay, there we go. There's our large loop at the end of our running line. Some people call these tactical loops. It's got a nice long weld here to give it lots of strength. You want to make sure the end bit here, where the tag end goes, is well done. You want to make sure it's good and solidly welded, because that is the one thing that you have to watch out for. As I said, if this thing is constantly working inside the tip top, you can start to get that little end to start coming apart on you. So you want to make sure that's well done and the tip is flowed into the main line. But other than that, there you go. Nice big wide loop, make it easy to put your Skagit or your Scandi heads on. And as I say, if your brand of running line does not have a big loop, you can add one. You can repair or replace a broken one. And one of the things I've run across is airflow. I don't think they do it anymore. They used to supply these black sleeves. If you can get your hands on a black sleeve, you can actually put it over this and, make a little sleeve that goes over that end so it will not catch on anything. You heat shrink the sleeve down to it and it works like a charm. I'm not bothering putting that on camera because so few people will have access to it. But if you do have any of those black sleeves that were supplied with airflow lines, you can weld it onto this to cover up that tag end. You won't have any problems at all with that coming loose when you're constantly working in the guides. Because even the factory ones can do that. I mean, this is an excellent factory made one. But this one has a sleeve on it. I can feel the sleeve, and airflow adds this sleeve to prevent exactly this problem. But with the old running lines, they did not have a sleeve on them, and you could over time get some wear going on there. So it's a good idea to be able to build your own loop to replace one that gets damaged. So there you go, large loops on the end of our running lines. Cheers.
Fish. This one.